let's look at some of the ethical issues around data collection. So we've seen array lists and other data structures. We used to store and read data. So this data could have been sensitive data, like the name of a person, date of birth, and so on. And these are typically stored in databases by Java applications. So these applications could be local on your PC or web-based, so they communicate over the internet. So web applications are taken advantage of by hackers, which can result in identity theft, fraud, and so on. So programmers should attempt to safeguard the personal privacy of clients and users. So one of the ways that a programmer can safeguard privacy is via cryptography. So before sending the data over the internet, the data is encrypted or scrambled so it's unreadable, which is known as the cipher. And then that's transmitted over the internet. And the same key is shared between a client and server application. So the data can be decrypted afterwards and stored in a database. And the database should be secure, so it can only be accessed by authorized users. And similarly in the other direction, when a client requests some information from the server, the data is encrypted on the server side and decrypted on the client side, so it's only readable to the client. And in the database, for example, suppose we want to store the password of a user. Well, we don't want to store the password in case the database is breached. So instead we store the hash of the password. So for example, you may have heard of SHA or the secure hash algorithm. So the 512-bit version and so on. So this is a non-reversible mathematical algorithm that scrambles the password. So for example, if the client selects a password, a hash of that password is stored in the database, and then when the client tries to log in with that same password, so they know their own password, so that password is hashed, and then the hash is compared to the hash in a database to see if the client is authorized to log in. And if the hashes match, the client can log in. And also recall that encapsulation was another way to keep data secure, as this allows access to data through a well-defined interface. So that avoids things like data corruption or misuse of the data, because we can protect the data using the private keyword and only allow it to be modified in a certain way using methods. So remember the accessors, mutators, and so on.